Hey everyone, welcome back to No Textbook for Life. I'm your host, Malia Johnson. Around here, we talk about the real life lessons school forgot to teach us, the stories, struggles, and surprises that shape who we are. Every episode is a little different. Sometimes it's just me, sometimes I bring on guests, but it's always real, honest, and straight from the heart. So get comfy, take a breath, and let's get into today's episode. Ooh, okay. I always hate filming the intro, but I'm not tricky enough to just add one other. Anyways, I wanted to say that this episode is inspired by my sister because she is pregnant and she's going to be a first-time mom. And I remember when I was a first-time mom and you just get flooded with tons of information. And, when she was asking me about things that she should get, I just remembered all of the products that I bought that I immediately regretted. Now that I have two children, there were a lot of things that my second child does not have that my first did, but because it was unnecessary. And there's a lot of things that my second child does have that my first didn't, that is way more functional and it's actually useful. I just want to preface by saying I feel like it's easier to buy what you need in the moment rather than anticipating the needs. There were, each child is different. So one child might need something different than the other child, and your situations could also be completely different. With my first, I anticipated way too much and I bought way too many things in advance thinking she would need it, and she did not. We did waste a lot of money on those things. And yes, they collected dust. So there was a lot of things that I have learned between both children and both pregnancies and births. So I'm here to share some of those things because being a first-time parent is overwhelming. There's so many lists and products and opinions. I learned the hard way, like I said, that not everything you buy for your baby is worth it. Sorry, I'm out of breath for some reason. Okay, after having two kids, I put together 12 things I regret buying for my newborn. Some are big ticket items, others are smaller everyday items. However, it adds up and it's just unnecessary clutter. I've also included a few insights based on surveys and research so you can learn from both my experience and the wider parenting community. Okay, 12 things I regret buying. However, the first one I actually didn't buy, but still, it took up room. Number one was a crib. Right. You would think that this is a necessity. It is not. We maybe use a crib 6 times total for our firstborn. We got rid of it immediately after we moved when she was 6 months. It was a handed down crib. It was very nice, but honestly, both of my babies slept in our room for a long time. I will say that my firstborn slept in our room till she was like 3.5. And there's many reasons to why she did. First, we were living in an apartment for the first 6 months of her life, and she just slept in a bassinet next to me because I am a very anxious person, and to have her in the room next to us, I never would have slept. So she just slept by me the first 6 months, and then we got a pack and play when we moved into my in-laws, and we only had a 1-bedroom that was considered ours. So, we all had to sleep in the same room. It was like our house was this little bedroom for 18 months. So yes, she just slept in there with us. She had pack and play, and anyways, with my second born, she was in a bassinet for 4 months, 6 months, maybe. Probably 4 to 5 months because she's a big baby. And then we moved her into a pack and play in our room, but her sister was scared of sleeping alone, so we moved her into her sister's room, and she likes it that way. So we finally have her room back after about 4 years. So yeah, I mean, according to a 2022 survey, most newborns sleep in their parents' room for at least 3 to 6 months, which makes full cribs less essential than you might think. And in our case, it was like 36 to 48 months, but the situation was different. Number 2 was a full nursery setup. Like I said, we were only in an apartment for 6 months before we moved. So that 6 months, I did have a nice nursery setup. It was decorated. It had like a changing table with a crib, a rocking chair, a special like mat to play on, all the supplies she need, her own closet. Yeah, and I mean the nursery was never used, and it was kind of inconvenient to go in and out of the nursery. Now I literally just keep everything in the living room because it's easy access. Um, Also with nurseries, studies show that only about 30% of nursery furniture and decor is used regularly in the first 6 months. So, you don't need a Pinterest perfect setup to succeed. In fact, it's just added clutter and a wasted room. Number 3 is a bottle warmer. It seemed essential at the time. I tried nursing for the first 3 months. Didn't work out, so we switched to formula, and it's hard to like get that temp right. They say no microwave, no tap water, da 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 da. There's so many things to do with formula. We got it figured out now, but bottle warmer was absolutely useless. Um, Especially at night. I mean, it takes forever, like 3 to 5 minutes to get somewhat warm, and then the bottle's wet. Yeah, anyways, not worth it, especially when you're a parent. You want to get that bottle done and out fast because that baby's crying and you're tired. Fun fact as well, babies don't care about bottle temp. Research confirms that room temp formula is just as safe and effective as warm formula for newborns. So, yeah. Number 4, a wipe warmer. I don't even know why we thought this was a good idea. Thought maybe a warm wipe would keep her asleep better at night, which another thing, I don't change diapers at night anymore unless it's poop, because the changing a wet diaper just wakes them up more and then they have a hard time going to sleep. So unless it's like overflowing or poop, I don't change it, and yeah, so much better. I mean, it was a nice concept at first. We thought, she'd enjoy warm wipes, but she only gets a warm wipe when she's at home. And, I mean, most of the time we're out and about, so. Also, wipe warmers, they definitely dry out super fast. We had to like add water to it so that it would stop being so dry. And it took up counter space, and it had this annoying light on it that was just too bright in our room. So, just an example of how extra gadgets rarely improve your baby's comfort. Number 5, fancy bottles. I mean, we tried high-end bottles. I will say that I do like Dr. Brown's. But it comes like Dr. Brown's has a lot of extra parts, and I don't really think my babies had a lot of colic. So, if your babies are colicky, then maybe it's necessary to have those fancy bottles. But for us, I mean, my babies didn't have colic or reflux much. My baby's favorite bottles are the $1 Walmart bottles, and they're actually way cuter and so easy to clean, just as effective. And like when we're done with them, honestly, we throw them away because they're gross after a year and a half. So number 6, baby medicine stockpile. So I bought everything just in case, like teething gels, gripe water, gas drops, Motrin, probiotics, Tylenol. Anyways, and most of it expired before I even got to use a quarter of it. So medicine is so expensive that I regret buying all of those. I'd rather have just bought it when it was needed. And pediatricians recommend keeping only the essentials at home. Anyways, so. Okay, number 7, lots of newborn size clothes. At least in my case, my babies grow so fast. For example, my 1-year-old is wearing 18 to 24 months right now. Babies, they grow fast. So buying too many tiny clothes is a common mistake. Experts say newborns may only wear 5 to 10 outfits in the first month, making huge wardrobes unnecessary and expensive. Yeah. And I had a spring baby, so she was in a lot of just plain onesies. And then I had a fall baby, so she mostly just wore PJs. Just makes it easy. They spit up on it. You got to change their outfits quite a bit. Number 8, to go along with the clothing, fancy dresses or clothing. It's cute, yes. Practical, no. Babies spit up, pee, poop, and grow too fast. Simple clothing is often more functional than designer baby outfits. I got a lot of hand-me-downs like Nike and Adidas, but I would never buy that myself. There's really no point in that. Yeah, and fancy dresses that are poofy are horrible. You can barely hold your baby, so I find no point in that. Even dresses in general are hard, especially when they start crawling and stuff. So I just, a couple church outfits that are like rompers, great. Number 9's baby shoes. They're adorable, but newborns don't walk yet. Socks are plenty, and shoes don't benefit your baby at all. 10, tons of blankets. We had more blankets than we could count, but only a few were truly useful, and I feel like babies pick their favorite anyways, so. But pediatric sleep experts recommend 1 to 2 sleep blankets for safety and practicality. Even right now, I think we have 20 blankets from all the older women in the neighborhood that handmade all these blankets and gave them to us. I will say though, my oldest, she had one favorite blanket, and that was it. So yeah, I'd say 2, just in case one gets spit up on, then you can wash it and have the other one on hand. Okay, 11. Onesie PJs without a double zipper. Why would anyone even make PJs without a double zipper anymore? For my oldest, she's only 4, so that's not that long ago. None of her PJs had double zippers. Luckily, though, I feel like nowadays, just about every PJ set has a double zipper. Because you really don't want to be taking off the whole PJ, open up to cold air or something, just to change their diaper. It's so much nicer. You can just pop out 2 legs, do it real fast, and put them back in. Besides, changing a baby in the middle of the night is stressful enough. And single zip PJs add frustration. Double zippers or snaps make nighttime changes easier. And when I say snaps, I probably mean only PJs with 3 snaps, which are hard to find. Anything more than that that's not worth it. And there should be no buttons involved with any sort of baby or kid clothing. By the way, don't get buttons, even if it's cute, unless they're faux buttons and they're actually not real. This one might be controversial. I don't know. I don't hear about them anymore. But number 12, I said the Owlet socks. And Colt and I both really wanted to get one, but it was $300 for a sock monitor. And I don't like spending that much money on stuff, but I was like, oh, it's important because it could save my baby, da da da. But really, I asked around and did some research. Many parents found it stressful and unnecessary. A lot of the socks would also just like ding without something being wrong in the first place. So it caused a lot of anxiety there. And then I heard about the socks like short circuiting and the little monitor would burn their little feet or their ankles. So I wasn't about it. And, the app was fidgety. I don't know. I asked a lot of people in parent groups and stuff like that. And in the end, I determined not to get the sock. I realized though, as a first time mom, I was so anxious and could not sleep because I thought my baby was gonna stop breathing all the time, which is the reason I really wanted the sock in the first place. Now that I've had my second baby, I check on her still, but I mean, I don't lose sleep. I know she's fine. And yeah, it's been much easier that way. I will say, like, technology is helpful sometimes, but it doesn't replace hands-on observation and care. And my list, I said, only has 12 items in it, but I mean, I can probably think of at least 10 more that we have purchased and regretted buying, or that other people have told me they regretted buying, but those were the 12 that like stood out most at the moment. So I will say, like, the biggest takeaway from first time mom regretting buying all these things is that less is more. Okay. And that is so important for you first time moms. Less really is more. Makes it much easier, and the less clutter, the better. Less things to worry about, the better. And I mean, surveys show parents spend over $1,200 in the first 3 months on baby items they rarely use, and I feel like this is true. I probably spent that much. And only a fraction of nursery gear and gadgets are regularly used. Trying to think. I mean, probably the most used nursery gadget we have is a sound machine. And the reason we have the sound machine is because my husband needs it. So, sleep gear and fancy gadgets often don't make a measurable difference. Your time, attention, and consistency matter far more. So, if you have some kind of gear or gadget that helps you to be a more relaxed, a more efficient, or a better mama, then keep it and use it. But if it's not helping you in any way, it's not helping your baby, then it's probably time to get rid of it. For partners listening, emotional support and hands-on help are more effective than buying more baby gear and reducing maternal stress and improving postpartum well-being. Showing up for diaper changes, feedings, and giving mom a break has a bigger impact than any gadget ever could. So don't try to get a gadget that will replace your work in this parenting atmosphere, okay? In the end, motherhood isn't about the gear, it's about learning as you go, which, I mean, I've done lots of that. Showing up every day and figuring out what actually works for your family. So yeah, next week I am going to talk about the 12 items that I would buy again and again that I absolutely love having as a mom. And as a second time mom, I feel like I got that list down. And as the years go on, there's definitely more baby products and gadgets that come out. So I'd say do your research first. And like I said, less is more. So just enjoy your baby. And then when something arises and you're like, oh, this would be really handy, then that's when you should get it. One example is when we're traveling, we have to carry around formula, and we were carrying it like in a jar and trying to like scoop out the right measurements. It was horrible. But then my friend gave us a little formula holder, and in each little compartment you put the right amount of formula and you just pour it in the bottle, and it's so easy. So that's an example of when like we needed something to make traveling more efficient. And situations change for each families too. Another example is we love to go camping, so there's some baby things that we have that would only really be super necessary for a camping trip, or if you're traveling a lot, or if you're going to the beach or whatever. So find baby gear and products that fit into your lifestyle, but don't let them seek you out. Make sure you seek it out when you need it for your situation, for your family, for your baby, and for you. Okay, well, thanks for listening to No Textbook for Life. You can also find the video version and more on my YouTube channel, Modern American Mama. I'll see you next Friday, and congratulations, you survived another episode of No Textbook for Life.